In this video we are taking a closer look at the Pilar or Pilar 3 made by Crkt, what I believe to be Chinese knife producer, knife manufacturer. I have never shown any knife from this company, maker, brand before on my channel, simply because this is the first knife I've gotten that is made by them. They do have a couple of different designs. I know they collaborate with a few different knife designers, and in this case and in many cases when I do go with a smaller folder, it is a Jesper Voxnaes design. That was the deciding factor for me going with this knife. So let's take a look here at the box here. Nothing fancy or special at all, just a small sturdy little box here that says Pilar 3 with D2 blade steel, product of China. That's pretty much it. So let's do a small unboxing, shall we? Pretty straightforward box, right? So we got a knife, we got some paperwork, and well, that seems to be it. No pouch or anything, no cloth, no nothing, but that is quite okay. So what do we have here? Confidence in hand, innovation and integrity. To us, nothing matters more. Some random information. You can pause the screen if you want to read it all. I'm not going to read it up right now, but a small little booklet of sorts. Like I said, pretty straightforward. And then we have the actual knife itself. So this is what the knife looks like out of the box. Black G10, titanium, and some gold colored or brass colored backspacer, which has the lanyard hole built into the backspacer part here. Guess you could probably remove the backspacer if you don't kind of want it or want this lanyard hole here. But yeah, anyways, this is the Pilar 3. Let's take a look at the specs here. There is no flipper tab or anything. I was, at first feeling like there should be a flipper tab somewhere. And there are no thumb studs either, so you have to open this either with a two-hand grip, like that, or perhaps using your thumb in some way. So, well, that actually worked a bit smoother than I thought it would. Or was it just, oh. So that is probably the way I will try to open it, using this one-hand grip like that. Anyway, let's start off by taking a look at the specifications here. We already know the steel is D2 and that it is a Jesper Voxnaes design. We have this is a small knife, obviously. I already mentioned that, I believe. Anyway, we have a total length, or an overall length, of 184 millimeters, so 18.5 centimeters, with a blade length of 76 millimeters, so around 7.5 centimeters, I would say. We have a blade thickness of 3.7 millimeters, and we have a close length of 108 millimeters. So it is on the small side, but it is not a super small knife. Okay, there we go. It's it's gonna take a bit of getting used to using this this hole here to open up the knife. Anyways, the opening action when I do succeed with opening the knife is quite smooth. It opens up nicely. The trick for me here seems to be getting a good, good grip here with my thumb. I'm sitting a bit strange now, so I'm not sure how well I can place myself, but getting that, flick technique of sorts in. I'm sure it's gonna, it's already starting to come to me. So otherwise, like I said, you can always just, use a two-hand grip opening the knife. Either way works. Am I missing the thumb stud? Yeah, I think it's a question about getting used to this this design, but I am kind of a sucker for thumb studs. No, not thumb studs, flipper tabs. Thumb studs is also something that I kind of like as well. Probably more than doing the spider flick, etc. with a hole, but it's not a big deal, really, to be honest. We have a frame lock design with a pretty solid, let's see, yeah, definitely a solid lockup around like 35-ish%. This blade ain't going anywhere. No lock stick, easy to disengage. Closing action. Yeah, not really, hydraulic, not dropping shot, but definitely, doesn't require much of an effort. And a nice click when closing. This is brand new out of the box, so I do expect that it will break in a bit more. But this is, yeah, definitely not bad. Yeah, you can of course open a knife, you don't have to flick it open with a lot of force. You can of course just, open it up like that. Works quite well. Pocket clip, pretty, standard look to it. Nothing really special about it. Yeah, it seems to be pretty, pretty decent retention. This part here, which looks kind of uncomfortable, it is protruding a bit, but it is nicely rounded. When I have it in my hand, I really can't say I feel it that much, which is a good thing, of course. And like I stated, this is a Jesper Voxnaes design, and he usually goes with these finger choils. And I like functional finger choils. So let's see, my fat fingers wear size 10 in gloves, fairly large hands. So let's see if we can sink the finger in there. Yeah, it could have been a few millimeters bigger, the choil here, for my fingers. But I doubt it will become a problem. The sharpened area, let's see. It's not going to be a problem really, but like I said, I have fairly large hands. So if you have even larger hands, if you are like, I don't know, size 11, size 12 in gloves, and that you have large fingers, then it could potentially be an issue for you. Then again, you don't have to use the finger choil, but with this much of a choil and with this much blade area that could have been otherwise, it would be sort of a waste not to use this design. Then I would probably look into another model or another Voxnaes design perhaps. But in my hand, yeah, it feels quite comfortable. Thumb being placed here feels great. Smooth spine, it's not rounded, but it's definitely not sharp. There is no jimping on the spine. But this is a comfortable grip for me, absolutely. This too is a really comfortable grip. But like I said, you know, it is pretty much intended that you should use the finger choil, but you do not have to, depending on the task you perform. But this feels really natural in my hand. This feels really natural as well. The grooves here, I do feel that a slight bit. I'm not saying I'm gonna get hot spots or anything, but it is not, in my hand, perhaps not super comfortable, to be honest. Not a major concern, but I mean, it's something that is worth mentioning when going over the overall design here of the knife. The weight of this knife is, I'm actually not quite sure. We can put it on a scale to become sure. So it is 108 grams, or if you prefer ounces, it's 3.8 ounces. So it's not super light, but definitely not, you know, heavy. You will probably feel it in your pocket, but the size is still rather small. Torx screws all around. Not quite sure about the size, but yeah. Classic, to me this is a classic Jesper Voxnaes design. My favorite design from Jesper is probably the Voxnaes, and I haven't even made a dedicated video for that knife yet. But one of the major differences between, for example, the Voxnaes and this Crkt Pilar 3 is, of course, well, general design in some sense, but also steel use. This is D2 compared to like M390 for some of my other Voxnaes knives. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I really do prefer M390 over D2, but D2 has, you know, proven itself to be a capable steel. So it's not in any way, in my opinion, it's not a bad steel. It really isn't, but there are a lot better steels out there. But it is a highly functional blade steel. And this knife here is probably, I believe, the cheapest knife that I own in terms of folders and perhaps fixed blades as well. I'm not sure about the price in dollars, but let's say that this one was perhaps, I don't know how expensive it is. I got it from Lamnia. It was perhaps like $80. And that is, in my opinion, you know, with the knife in hand, with the design, with the feel and everything, you know, $80 seems like a pretty good price, you know, like you know, yeah, great value for the money. I tend to show a lot of knives on my channel that are quite pricey, with folders, you know, up to like, well, 1K or something like that. But you can obviously get, you know, really, you know, well-made, highly functional knives at a much lower cost than that. So let's continue going over the knife here. In terms of blade play, there is no blade play going on. Let's take a look at the centering next. Let's see. So the centering is, well, if not 100%, I would call it like 95% centered or better. I'm definitely 100% okay with that, especially given the price. And it's not, you know, pushing against any side or anything here. So, I mean, despite being perhaps like slightly off-centered, it is not in any way pushing against either the shove side nor the lock bar side. There's a lot of room between, but it's kind of hard to show it on the camera. So let's test the sharpness here of the edge. Let's see, the edge, is it evenly grinded? Yeah, it is a bit, let's see. This is the grind here on the lock side, and this is the grind on the shove side. And it is perhaps not, you know, 100% even here up at the tip. But that is definitely not going to be a problem. And if we look at, like I said before, the Voxnaes that I have, well, the grinds are definitely not 100% on that knife. And I own two Voxnaes, and both are like that. So it's not, you know, a major concern, but, you know, now that we are taking a closer look at this one, yeah, it is, like I said, worth mentioning. But let's try the factory edge here, slicing some magazine paper, some printing paper, and then we're gonna go with some newspaper as well. See how it performs. So let's start with the printing paper. That is usually what we start with. So let's see if we can flip it open. Yeah, I'm starting to get a hang here of the flipping, right? Oh, that's actually surprisingly nice. I will say that I have much more expensive knives that will not cut paper not nearly as nice as this one does. And this is, of course, the factory sharpness. Yeah, it made quick work. Really nice sharpness out of the box. Definitely pleasantly surprised, not gonna lie. Yeah. This is very, very impressive. I've had a lot of sharp knives recently here on my channel, and I'm not gonna lie, I've had a few Chinese knives here and they have all been scary sharp. Let's go with the magazine paper here next. Let's see. Making confetti here is not much of an issue. Surprisingly easy. So let's see if we can do some wave movements when cutting this magazine paper. Just, you know, as a small test of sorts. This is really, really good stuff. This knife is very sharp. Very, very sharp. Let's go with newspaper here. Maybe we should actually, I mean, this was, just slicing this up wasn't, you know, much of a challenge. Let's see if we can do some wavy patterns when slicing this piece here. So this is actually extremely impressive. Definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like, you know, even if the grind was, you know, not 100% perfect, etc., the knife itself is probably, you know, in my, you know, top tier of sharpness of knives. Makes me wish this one was M390 and with, you know, full titanium scales or maybe some carbon fiber. I'm not sure if this knife has ever been made in a version such as that, but it sure would be nice. I've got to say that. Damn, yeah, that was actually pretty nice. I think that's gonna be it for this overview of sorts of this knife. I'm not gonna do a lot more testing now, but I can, you know, say that for the price, well, it is comfortable, well designed, super sharp, you know, a very budget friendly alternative to use as, you know, EDC or whatever you want to use it for. Like I said, not all knives have to be super expensive and, you know, super spectacular handle materials or even blade steel. But with that being said, I wouldn't mind, you know, having the option to, you know, go with this one and in this, you know, specific materials, and then being able to have one with some other materials as well, you know, so you can pick, you know, whatever, well, whatever you want to go with, sort of. But, you know, from my first, you know, experience with this maker and this specific model, it seems like a pretty, you know, easy recommend. Yeah, I like it. Maybe add a thumb stud, or even better, a flipper tab as well. Very nice, very sharp.